Good afternoon, Harlem and Harlems of the world. I am Terri Wisdom, and this is Harlem Network News. Harlem Network News is a media platform. We started at the onset of COVID, and we are still here. We are here to ensure that Harlem, the Harlems of the world, and the world are informed, engaged, and called to action. We are the voice and drumbeat of Harlem. We cover a lot that mainstream media may not cover. So it's very, very critical in terms of what we do and how we do it. Today, we really want to begin our program with just a salute to the chair of Harlem Week, the Greater Chamber of Harlem Chamber of Commerce, Lloyd Williams, who transitioned last week. Lloyd was a giant among men. We have been having an association with Harlem Week probably 30, 40 years in different ways. As Harlem Network News, we have done an annual interview about Harlem Week, and we are just honored to do that again. But we just want to salute Lloyd and let him know Harlem is standing for you. And we are continuing the legacy. And when I spoke about our traditional annual interview, in the past, we've done it with Marco Nobles, who is amazing. He's another Mr. Harlem Week. We even gave Marco an award. And it was so interesting because when we called about a Harlem Week award, Lloyd is always humble in a lot of ways. And he said, give it to Marco. When I called Marco, he said, me? And I said, yeah, Lloyd said, give it to you. But today we have another icon of Harlem Week with us. And that is in the person of Winston Majette. So if you would just say hello to the audience and just give us your reflections of Lloyd and perhaps an anecdote that you'd like to share. Thank you so much.
Hi, how's everybody doing? My name is Winston Majette, and I serve as Executive Director of Harlem Week. And I have at least 37, probably 40 years of volunteerism and different assignments and projects that I've worked on before becoming Executive Director of Harlem Week. And like many people who've been here for the last 51 years, I started off as a volunteer. And
wow.
I actually had not come into the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce office, and the Chamber of Commerce is the parent of Harlem Week. Harlem Week is one of our products. Probably for the first 3 or 4 years, I mostly worked outside as a photographer shooting sports, basketball, tournaments that we did at Columbia University and at the City College of New York. Graduated, if you will, volunteering, doing production, working on different stages, whether they were on Summer in the City or Harlem Day when we were on 125th Street, and then working with marketing and working with contracts and so forth for artists and companies and organizations that want to be a part of Harlem Week and participate. So I guess it was maybe 4 years before I actually met Lloyd Williams, our chair for Harlem Week. But again, I stand with 10,000 other people who work on Harlem Week on an annual basis, as it's a year-round event. It takes place during the summer, but we work on it year-round. As soon as we finish one festival, we start working on the next year's festival.
Okay. Well, that's amazing. And, you know, I love doing these interviews because I always learn something about the person. I never knew about you and the photography and the sports. And, you know, I remember when we had the guest house, I think it was you that was trying to bring Harlem Week people there. So it has been quite a journey. And there's so many connected, but I just think that's so interesting that it was like maybe 3 or 4 years before you actually met Lloyd. If you would just share with us any anecdote or any story about Lloyd Williams that really exemplifies who he was and, as we say in Harlem, how he rolled. So thank you.
Well, one of the stories of many that I can share is probably 35, 40 years ago, I was working with some alumni from my college, North Carolina Central University,
All
and
right.
historical Black colleges and universities. And we were doing small college fairs in different churches like Convent Avenue Baptist Church, Canaan Baptist Church, Abyssinian Baptist Church, and quite a few others. And they all went well. We all did what we had aimed to do, which was make the tri-state area more knowledgeable about historical Black colleges and universities, and giving students an opportunity to get admitted and to apply for scholarships that were available. One of my alumni brothers from North Carolina Central, Kenny Ray, he said, I think this may be something that can work during Harlem Week. So he and another HBCU alumni, Mr. Mark Raspberry, who was an alumnus of Morehouse, we came together and we met with Lloyd and we pitched it to Lloyd. And he said he thought it was a good idea, but we should run it by Mr. Marco Nobles.
Okay.
Was a member of the Harlem Week board. He had not been selected as vice chairman yet.
All right.
He's vice chairman of Harlem Week. And we sat with him and some of the other board members, and we configured how we can do that event and make it like a 4-hour, 5-hour event. And Lloyd said, well, do you think it's going to work? And we said, we thought that it was something on the menu of families in the tri-state area, in particular Harlem, Brooklyn, and the Bronx. We just had to convince them to come. So at that time, we had rented, I guess, maybe 25 tables and 50 chairs, and set up our exhibit space. Harlem Week gave us exhibit space, and let a lot of the folks in the churches know that we were going to be out for Harlem Week. Little did we know they were going to come out to Harlem Week anyway, to the festival anyway. So it was an added plus for them to come out and get information on historical Black colleges. But lo and behold, it grew to the point where we actually had to have a 20 by 40 tent and put the schools underneath the tent. So then it grew to about 42, 43 HBCUs that started to participate, and thousands upon thousands of students started to come out and learn more about historical Black colleges and universities. So we deemed that as a successful initiative. And then we branched out and started working with the New York Urban League, who was hosting at that time a Black college fair called the Malcolm Bernard Black College Fair, which took place in the fall. And that particular fair drew thousands and thousands of students as well. So we used Harlem Week's Black College Fair as a prerequisite for students before they went to participate in the Malcolm Bernard Black College Fair and Expo in the fall. So a lot of parents were able to make a checklist of what they needed in order to get into college and get scholarship opportunities. So both fairs grew simultaneously. And I'm happy to say now that we had that partnership, the Malcolm Bernard Black College Fair that we do with the New York Urban League, has had over 10,000 students at one time come for one day. And that's the opening day, which is in Harlem. And throughout the rest of that week, there are various college fairs throughout New Jersey and in Philadelphia. So there's about 100,000 students that get the opportunity to learn about historical Black colleges and universities. And when Mr. Williams had heard that that's what it grew from and grew to, He was
Mhm.
very ecstatic about that.
Mhm.
And he was glad to be a part of that nest egg that grew
Mhm.
on to become an eagle and help hundreds of thousands of students and families throughout the year, affording them information on HBCUs and opportunities for scholarships. So that stands out as one of my fond memories of Mr. Williams.
Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing that. And Mr. Lloyd Williams was a very interesting person. I'll just say my quick anecdote. I was in one of the Harlem restaurants, Ponte Bistro, and I saw Lloyd kind of sitting across from me, and I kind of said hello, when I went back to what I was doing, and Lloyd was like, "Well, come on over here and sit with me." And then I was ordered to come over there. I was trying to, not bother him. But then I sat down and he was asking me about all of what I was doing and Harlem Network News. And he said, and we're going to help you. And you just let us know, this, that, and the other. So that's kind of my anecdote. So we're still trying to coordinate a lot of Harlem Week things. We did do a booth one year, and that was great with our nonprofit. And we had people signing up to bring Brittany Griner home, and we did interviews. So it's an integral part. But I just say that to say that Lloyd, though he was the leader, he was the people's man. He wanted to talk to you. He was very gruff. You could ask him something. They say, "Didn't I tell you that?" But you ask anyway. But that was with love. So he was definitely a part of the community, walking up and down the street, sitting in restaurants, and telling people to come over and share what you're doing. So I know that Harlem, Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce, and the Harlem Week are a very integral part. But if you could just share briefly, because a lot of people don't really understand. And I'm Terri Wisdom. This is Harlem Network News. I'm here with Winston Majette of the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce, as well as Harlem Week. So can you tell us what the delineation is and what other kinds of things you do briefly for Harlem? I know during COVID, you were doing a lot of handing out of the food, and there's a lot of spokes. So if you could just share that. I don't know if there's real estate or different things that are involved, but it's important that people know because we got to pick up that baton. So thank you.
Well, the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce has quite a few initiatives. One, as you said, is health. And upon the COVID time period, for which was a question mark for everyone, we partnered with one of our members, Rethink Food New York, and
Mhm.
some of the various churches. And we said, well, what we need to do is provide an opportunity for folks to get healthy meals. So we partnered with Melba's Restaurant. We partnered with Ponte Bistro, who you mentioned earlier, Manny's Restaurant. And we came up with a criteria for healthy meals to be distributed from sale at United Methodist Church. And we started that, pretty much at the beginning of COVID, when we saw that there was not going to be an opportunity for people to get healthy meals because people were told to stay indoors and not go out unless they're doing shopping or laundry or going to, doctor's visits, which at that time, the emergency rooms were filled in hospitals. So that was one of our first initiatives that we did together. And I'm happy to say that that initiative is still going on and given out at
Great.
various churches. And it's been over 1 million meals, excuse me, and pantry items that have been given out to families in Harlem and in Upper Harlem, in Washington Heights, in the Bronx, and throughout the city. So that was one of the initiatives that came out of that. Prior to that, our technology committee, which is led by Silicon Harlem's president and CEO, Mr. Clayton Banks,
All right.
we saw that there was a lack of broadband, connecting public housing, senior housing, and youth centers. So we partnered with the New York City Mayor's Office and their technology division and started bringing bandwidth and Wi-Fi to various housing developments in Harlem. And that helped several ways. One, because now it was online learning, which was, the sign of the times based on the pandemic, where we're able to help families get connected to online classroom study and to communicate with their loved ones, because the nursing homes were trying to keep people healthy. So families weren't able to connect with their loved ones who were in nursing homes. There were people in hospitals, Harlem Hospital, and the like. And they were able to communicate with them. And then also, it was a way for families to connect and learn together. It was only but 3 or 4 hours of learning through the school system.
Mhm.
Families were able to take advantage of what's already been a part of their culture, which is to share stories and share learning and study, together, read together, etc. So on the technology front, we were able to do that. And through our health committee as well, we were able to start handing out masks and protective gear to prevent COVID as much as possible throughout the city. So we worked with people like New York State Assemblywoman Inez Dickens, then
Yes,
Congressman Charles Rangel.
yes, absolutely. God rest his soul. as
They
well.
they were able to come and assist with that. Assemblyman Al Taylor. We were able to work with City Councilman Bill Perkins, who was in office at that time, and
Right.
Mark Levine, prior to him becoming Manhattan Borough President. He was
Mhm.
City Council as well. So we were able to work with them and get medical supplies out. And then through our education committee, which is headed up by the president of the City College of New York, Vince Boudreau, we were able
Okay,
to obtain books for students. It didn't really matter if they were college books, high school books, middle class, or elementary school
there's
books.
books.
There's
That's
books.
a
You
great
get
thing.
books out to add another activity for young people, students, and families to do together,
Wow.
and to increase the knowledge base of getting complimentary books from various sources, whether it was the library system, the New York Public Library System, research center like the Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture, the various Harlem branches of the New York Public Library, and many teachers who are book collectors, to get those books to families and give them another activity to do together until it was advised by elected officials in the health department that people could start going out.
Wow. I
Even
mean,
though
this is amazing, Winston. And that's why I wanted you to share, because we see Harlem Week and the festivals and the music, but there's a whole nother level. And I believe how old, and this is Terri Wisdom, I'm Harlem Network News. I'm here with Winston Majette of the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce and Harlem Week. But how old is the chamber? How did you all get connected with the chamber? What is that? And then we're going to move on because we want folks to find out about what's happening 2025 Harlem Week. So go right ahead.
next year will be the 130th anniversary of the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce. And it's not the only, but it's the oldest business association in the state of New York. So it's the only one that has been here since the building of the George Washington Bridge, the IND and IRT subways, the World's Fair in Queens. Much of the land that we now know as part of the new Harlem Renaissance, working with the redevelopment of homes and residences and the economic development of organizations and businesses in New York City and New York State. So many times in the past, we've been selected by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce as the busiest chamber of commerce in America.
Wow. I love it. I love it. I love it. And this is Harlem. This is
Absolutely.
Harlem. A lot of amazing legacy, and it's interesting because Harlem is a cultural center. Obviously, there's a lot of Black heritage, culture, legacy, but also it's, you know, exemplary of New York City. It's a melting pot. How many languages are spoken here? So it's a very interesting thing. But would you just share what's happening for 2025 Harlem Week, what the theme is? We're in the middle of it, and it's just an iconic thing that our leader, Lloyd Williams, passed right in Harlem Week. You know, there's a significance to that. I also want to give prayers. Another one of our iconic board members and so on, Vosa Rivers, lost his wife the day before Lloyd. So there are many losses that happen, but it shows that the Chamber and Harlem Week, it's the body of Harlem Week, the body of the Chamber. We may have Lloyd as a leader, but as they say, the body of the church. So everybody is continuing on. I just want to just say something special to Ade, because at the great day in Harlem, he stood up, he talked about his father, he was there, he was present, he was working, because he knew that's what his father expected. And he just said he felt so much love from the community. And a shout out to Vosa, because he was there with everything that he was going through. So it's just such a community of people. I want to give a shout out to the back end who holds it all together. My longtime friend, you all call her Charlie Sutton, I call her Charlotte. But I want to shout out to her, Jamal Joseph, Vosa, Michael Preston. You know, there's more, but these are people that I always have, you know, just connected with. Michael Preston's got the Harlem Rocket boat now. So there's a lot of spokes coming out. But go ahead, tell us the theme, tell us what's happening this year and what has happened, and the fact that folks can still see what already happened. So go right ahead, Winston.
We invite those watching and listening to celebrate our magic. That's our overall theme this year. One of our sub things is your health is your wealth, which we started off with our New York City Senior Citizens Day at the Adam Clayton Powell Jr. State Office Building, having that be one of the themes where we did testings and screenings. We had a mammogram van supplied by Mount Sinai Hospital out there. We also had the New York Roadrunners come in, and they did musical exercise to get our senior citizens and attendees warmed up and ready for the summer. We also had the MTA is one of our sponsors there, giving people information on how they can get discount travel cards on New York City Transit. We also had many groups of people that are working with us as partners with Harlem Week, such as Black Health Matters.
Okay.
On the 14th of August, we'll be partnering with Harlem Week and having an indoor health conference at the Riverside Church from 8 o'clock to 4 p.m. So we invite you to come out to that event where there's lots of testing and screenings and panel discussions on health, led by Padmore John, our chairperson for the Health Committee for the Chamber. And the Chamber will have a special workshop talking about technology in health. So you'll get to hear about things that Harlem Hospital is doing, such as robotic testing and surgery. So last year they did some 995 robotic surgeries, and they have more to come. We'll also have Memorial Sloan Kettering talking about new cancer research that's being done. They were recently named the #1 cancer hospital in America. So we'll be talking about that as well. So we're going to have a lot of testing and screenings going on throughout Harlem Week, and that's one of our main focuses. Then just last weekend, we had our Percy E. Sutton 5K run, which had 5,600 runners participate in the 5K. And we also had our Family Health Walk, which we renamed after our former chamber board member, Dr. Hazelden Dukes, who is the president
Yes.
of the New York State NAACP, who passed this year. So we renamed that after her. And that was a lot of fun because one thing that Dr. Dukes and Dr. Williams asked of me when they both were alive was if we can take that long hill that they usually have to walk, which is on 141st from St. Nicholas to Convent
Oh,
Avenue, out of it. We were able
okay.
to do that. So we had many representatives from 100 Black Men, HCCI, Harlem Hospital, of course, the NAACP, Community Board 10 that participated in the walk and the run. And
Right. And I just want to say that we know last year that our Mother Dukes was always at those walks in her sneakers. So it's just befitting that she would be named. And, you know, she, like the Honorable Charles Rangel, did everything to the last minute that they could. They were icons. And of course,
absolutely,
Percy Sutton, icon, you know, so a lot of
absolutely,
history. Thank you. Mhm. So
absolutely.
what's coming up? What's coming up this week? Today, tomorrow, Friday into Saturday and Sunday? What's coming up? And
Well,
where can folks look to find out?
people should go to harlemweek.com and they can look at the virtual events and activities that we have coming up, like Economic Development Day virtually. We'll also be having New York City Jobs and Careers Fair at the City College of New York on the 13th. And that is from 9 to 4 p.m. at Shepherd Hall inside the Great Hall with 4 wonderful workshops on opportunities for senior citizens to come back into the work field, for young people to find out about DYCD jobs, which is the Department of Youth and Community Development. And they
Wonderful.
actually have jobs there for 14-year-olds to 40-year-olds all year round. So
Wow.
we thank
Wow.
the Commissioner
Power.
for DYCD and Mayor Adams for extending
Yes.
the age and making that available. So residents of New York City have another opportunity to find jobs, you know, besides going to New York City Small Business Solutions, which is Small Business Services, and going to the SBA, the federal government SBA program, Small Business Administration, to find out how to get jobs, extend your careers, and to help your small business and entrepreneurship endeavors grow. So
Okay.
that's the next thing. And
Okay.
we have a banking and finance conference, which we're partnering with and sponsored by JP Morgan Chase at 55 West 125th Street. And that begins at 5:30. And that's also on the 14th of August. So we invite those who are interested in learning about how to make your business grow or how to start a business to come out to 55 West 125th Street, JP Morgan Chase's storefront office, and learn about how they can do that as we lead into August 15th, 16th, and 17th, where we start the Harlem Music Festival tributes at various nightclubs and restaurants. And on Saturday, the 16th, have the opportunity to join us at West 135th Street between St. Nicholas Avenue and Fifth Avenue for the first day of the New York City Children's Festival, where we'll have a parade starting at 10:30, leading into the Children's Festival theme,
Nice.
Put Your Boots on the Ground.
Okay.
So that's how it begins before you interact with the hundreds of food and beverage and clothing and artists that are going to be vending and exhibiting. Our stage at St. Nicholas Avenue will kick off at 1 o'clock. You'll also have the opportunity to root on many of these young students from first grade to fifth grade who will be participating in the Alex Trebek Harlem Spelling Bee, which will be at the Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture. And that will begin at 1:30. And you'll also have an opportunity to meet and greet some special guests that'll be in Howard Bennett Playground for the New York City Children's Festival. And we can't reveal now who they are, but they're really special guests. And it's going to be a fun time where we have games and rides and free food and free drink for children.
I love it.
Must be
Yes.
accompanied by adults to get into Children's Festival. But it's going to serve well because in the evening, we're partnering with Image Nation to have the Harlem Week Outdoor Film Festival in St. Nicholas
I
Park
love it. I love
on
it.
the pavilion, and that starts at 6:30. And we'll have some special films on Harlem and Harlem Week and celebrating our magic before we go into our major day, Harlem Day, on the 17th of August in the same location, West 135th Street between St. Nicholas Avenue and the Fifth Avenue, where we'll have 4 stages of entertainment and be having a special salute on our Fifth Avenue stage, saluting the Honorable Charles Rangel and the Honorable Hazel Dukes and many others that we're saluting on that day. Right after we salute Quincy Jones and Eddie Palmieri and Celia Cruz and Tito Puente on our St. Nicholas stage on Saturday, August 16th. We're gonna excel on Sunday, and we're gonna salute many, many more.
Right. I remember you were saluting also at A Great Day in Harlem, Roberta Flack. We lost so many greats this year. So many. Yeah.
Absolutely, and that's the circle of life. For every
Yeah.
second that a baby
Yeah.
is born, they're taking and filling the shoes of another
Mhm.
person that second who has departed and gone on to be with the ancestors. So it's just fitting that Boots on the Ground is the Children's Festival theme because those babies in Harlem Hospital and Mount Sinai, they're going to
Mhm.
switch from children baby booties to some boots where they're going to be the next leaders in our community and the Harlems of the world.
Okay, well, thank you. I was gonna ask you for a closing statement, but I kind of think that's it. And once again, if you could share with people, Harlem Week is happening right now. There's something going on every day. Go to the website. If you can't go in person, you can view it on the site. There are vendor opportunities for Saturday and Sunday. I don't know if that's closed, but you
Not
know,
close yet.
okay, so let's go Harlem. And to me, it's just amazing. I'm Terri Wisdom. This is Harlem Network News. And Black media matters. We are important. We're actually working and conferring with a lot of the Black journalists to really see how we can get more of the messages out. You know, we've been working with Senator Cordell Clear on a few things. We were there covering the naming of the subway. I think it was Sunday for El Haj Malik Shabazz, Malcolm X. That was powerful. But there's so much stuff going on in Harlem. But the beauty of it is that a lot of it is organic. Like some people might not have seen it on your site, but the drum beat, you know, I know whoever they had out there at 125th, you know, on a Saturday, a lot of people didn't even know. But the drum beat spread and the folks were out there at the activity. And that's how Harlem is. You know, there's been stuff in Mount Morris Park, jazz, so much stuff going on. So we are a wealth and a viable community. And though there are disparities, which we've got to fix, we are the ones. So thank you, Winston, for taking the time
You're
out
welcome.
of a busy schedule, because I know you're in the middle of it, but I just wanted to keep the tradition of us having this Harlem Week exchange. It's very important. We want to support it. We are it. Please go to our YouTube channel, subscribe. This will premiere, but it stays up so you can continue. It keeps on giving. And news and information, knowledge is power. And especially at a time like this, when a lot of information is being manipulated. So we feel that, quote, we're doing our Black job to be out here and assure that you are informed about everything. We want to have the deeper dive. So it's been a great day in Harlem. And I know Harlem started as a day, Harlem Day. And, you know, now we're into Harlem Week. It's almost Harlem Month. So we love it and we're grateful for those who started that Harlem Day. I think it was like Percy Sutton and the naming of the streets, Malcolm X Boulevard, and like
Haji Davis,
you know,
Ruby D.
Ruby D. Thank you. Yeah. So, you know, we're still here.
We are. We're still here, and we're on the shoulders, as you said, of kings and queens, to do all we can in whatever way we can, whether it's working with the Department of Transportation for summer streets and getting cleaner and safer streets, or the New York State Office of General Services, and working on concerts, summer stage concerts in Harlem on Thursdays, or Jazzmobile at Ulysses S. Grant National Memorial on Wednesdays. We're going to be here for our members, and we're going to work to make Harlem a better place, as well as New York City and New York State and the rest of America.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And I know that you will keep us all posted on the homegoing for our, our leader, Lloyd Williams, as well as the wife of Voza, and also how we're going to structure our Harlem Week in our chamber with the transition of Lloyd.
Absolutely. They're still with us. Sharon Morris.
Okay.
All of them. Lloyd Williams.
Yes. Beautiful.
Mr. Rangel, Hazel Dukes.
Yes.
Jeff Eaton. They're
yes, Jeff Eaton. I'm just going to say this quick. I was looking for footage for Lloyd. And, I remember we were all coming back from the Democratic convention, and our planes all got canceled and stuff. I had to sleep in the airport, but I was determined, and Athena Moore, many of us, we still got to the funeral. We were in the clothes we slept in the airport, but we were there. So Jeffrey Eaton was another icon, and I have footage of him at the career fair, just last, so there's so much. And even somehow in my, all the things of the social media, it popped up. And I have Lloyd like for 7 years, in different footages. So it's important, and media matters. So thank you so much for taking the time, and stand up, Harlem. We matter. Thank you.
Thank you.
And still we rise. Terri Wisdom, Harlem Network News. Thank you.
Thank you.